I have never been more excited to start losing sleep again, not gonna lie. So the Toronto Maple Leafs played their first pre-season games on Saturday. It was a double-header against the Ottawa Senators, and both games certainly brought interesting elements to the table. This allowed us a first glimpse at a lot of the newcomers, prospects and additions to the team that we will be seeing over the upcoming season, so it was certainly interesting to watch. Now don't get me wrong, it was only 2 games and it was a split series, which means that you're not going to get a proper look at the team obviously, plus pre-season is not the same as regular season hockey anyway. However, I thought it would be fun to just do a little bit of sort of analysis and things that I picked up on while watching the games. So this is a very small sample size of games, and it really isn't indicative of anything that's going to happen in the regular season, but let's have a quick chat about the sort of things that I saw, enjoyed, didn't enjoy so much about the first set of pre-season games against Ottawa on Saturday. So there were certainly some outstanding players, and one of them was actually Dennis Morgan for me, who I was quite excited to see sort of coming back to the Leafs. A lot of other people were more sceptical, and I certainly got dragged on Twitter at the time for kind of supporting him. But anyway, I think he really showcased himself pretty well on Saturday. He was on a line with Nylander and Holmberg, and he did score the game-winning goal in Game 1. He seemed to work really well on this line, especially with Nylander. There was a lot of chemistry there, which was interesting to see. And Nylander was honestly creating a lot of the opportunities for him, which might detract from how good he actually would be if you were to remove Nylander from the equation. So despite playing well here, I don't think this is anywhere near guaranteeing him a top 6 place on the Leafs, because there's a lot of competition, and I'm not sure he's going to naturally fit into the top 6 straight away, but I was impressed with what I saw from him. Another player who really did stand out to me was Adam Gaudette. He was someone else I was really intrigued to see, and I was mightily impressed, I have to say. He was playing with Marner and Tavares, and he had a lot of speed. His pace was really good, he's got a really good shot, and he's definitely good on the forecheck as well. However, he's not perfect either. His puck possession and puck handling was a little bit questionable to me, and he certainly has a lot still to work on, but he could be a potentially good addition to the team in the long run. He does add something, and he's far from perfect, but you know, he was sort of part of the tweaking of the Leafs. He wasn't meant to be some sudden star player, we already have those. So I think he can get the job done where it's needed. Zach Aston-Reese also, he was pretty good. He brought a lot of physicality to the game, which is certainly something that the Leafs are often missing. He's very good at creating turnovers, and I think that he can be really good potentially on the penalty kill, just because of his size, physicality. He definitely adds that sort of energy that the Leafs often lack in their core. Alex Steeves also had a great start. He's only 22, he's still got plenty to develop on, and he did get 2 goals, which very good first impression to start with. And I think he may end up on the Leafs team perhaps sooner rather than what we expected. He definitely showcased himself very well, so we'll see what happens there. Equally so, Kalle Järnkrok, whose name I always mispronounce, so I apologise. He had a very strong debut, and he scored the only 2 goals in Game 2, which means that he arguably was producing the most in that second game out of all of the new additions anyway. So he's certainly, I can certainly see him being in the starting lineup. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't at least get the chance to try that out, because I think if he carries on this way throughout pre-season, I think he's definitely going to earn his spot over some of the others. Surprisingly so, Nick Robertson was someone that I had higher hopes for in pre-season, and he didn't quite live up to my expectations anyway. Obviously, as I said, this is one game. You cannot dictate anything by one game, but this analysis is only on those 2 games. So his game, he definitely didn't give quite the impact I was expecting. However, his line was Kerfoot and Aube-Kubel, and it's almost like he didn't know what to do with himself. But I do wonder if you put him perhaps on a different line, he might perform better, so there's not really much I can say from that, apart from the fact that I didn't think he played as well as I hoped he would. And just the stakes are high for this, so I thought that he would perform a little better than he did. I didn't really see what his sort of role was on that line, so perhaps that just wasn't the right line for him. This is obviously a competition for these guys as prospects and as new additions to get a spot on the starting lineup. So they know that the stakes are really high for this, and this should be their sort of time to prove themselves and prove what they can do. So it is really important for guys such as all the ones I've just mentioned to sort of try and showcase themselves as best they can, because it's the only way they're going to get on the team. Yeah, it was definitely interesting to see, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen as time goes on. So I know that probably the shakiest thing for the Leafs going into the season is the goaltending, and obviously goaltending especially isn't one of those things that you can judge off a game, or even, you know, like Samsonov didn't even play 3 periods, did he? He only played 2, so there's only so much you can tell from such a small sample size. And in that first period, he didn't have an awful lot of challenges, which is good because it shows that the Leafs were playing defensively very well because he wasn't challenged. But then in period 2, he certainly was busier. He was playing in the second game. So the second period of game 2, he was challenged a lot more. He was stopping the puck, which is great. And I feel like pre-season games are a better opportunity for players to prove themselves rather than goalies, so that's something that's still yet to be seen. But Samsonov is certainly someone that I am intrigued to see in net, and I think he might do a pretty good job. In terms of existing players, I thought Hall and Nylander in the first game were especially standout. Tavares and Kampf were also pretty good in that game, and then obviously I was excited to see Austin Matthews as well as Michael Bunting. I was excited to see kind of all of our stars be back playing, but pre-season really isn't about them. Pre-season is about the new guys, so that's kind of where my focus was being, even though I'm always focused on Austin Matthews, as we all know. So overall, the Leafs won the first game 4-1 and they lost the second game 4-2, and it is pre-season. It's just meant to be a little trial, I guess, of testing out different lines, putting the guys in different places, and just letting us have a glimpse of what the team, and especially the depth of the team, is going to look like come the actual regular season. I'm overall content with what we saw on Saturday. I think we've definitely tweaked a little bit and added some depth that was missing before, and sort of filled in a few gaps which were missing. I don't think we've got a comprehensive team, but then again, is that even possible when you've got a salary cap? Probably not. So it's nice to see all these different guys coming in. It's nice to see what the future of the franchise is going to look like. But I do think the regular season will still be defined by our stars, who are the highest paid and who should be determining games. I thought it would just be nice to chat a little bit about first pre-season games, because this is the first year that the season started and I've actually been making like hockey content. I wasn't doing this a year ago, which is insane. So there you have it. That is my very quick overview analysis of the first 2 Leafs pre-season games on Saturday against Ottawa. Make sure to comment down below what you thought. Who are you excited to see for the rest of the season? Who impressed you on Saturday? As always, make sure to like this video for more hockey content from across the pond, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be back again soon with more hockey chats from across the pond. But really, you should keep watching, so click on this video here to keep on watching more of my content, and make sure to subscribe. Bye guys.